We had the Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Take two.
Yeah. What the biggest thing I see in this game is Carolina's defense is still looking really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, it could be because it was the Buccaneers who are not looking so hot this year either. So
Well, I was already saying that they have one of the best defenses in the NFC South.
yeah,
And I think 4 weeks into the season, they have one of the best defenses in the NFC, top tier.
yeah,
I don't know if that's going to hold up throughout the season when they start playing some harder matchups. But they still have to play Green Bay, I believe.
yes, they do.
You know, they got a few harder games that we'll see. Tampa looked honestly a little bit better maybe than you would expect. I mean, division games are never easy though, so
I,
at least in the NFC South, they're rarely easy.
yeah, well, any divisional game is going to come up, and I think that can be said, every time you see a divisional game. Buccaneers, maybe their running game looks better, like with Doug Martin and everything, but not Jameis Winston. The guy had 4
But you know what?
interceptions.
Yeah, that's the bad thing. If you can get this kid, he's a rookie. So, like, I know that for some reason, NFL teams want to throw the rookie quarterback in from the get-go, and I say for some reason it's because their team sucks and they want to play better. But I think, and this has been a little bit of a talking point on some other outlets, but Tyrod Taylor is the old school quintessential story, kind of like Aaron Rodgers. Sat on the bench, learned behind a veteran quarterback, and now look at him. He's playing some damn good football.
Yeah.
Maybe the best option for most quarterbacks isn't to throw them out into a rookie year just to the wolves. I mean, seems kind of like common sense.
Yeah.
But that's what the NFL's been doing lately, honestly.
Realistically, if you're talking about rookies who are coming out to really make a name themselves,
Right.
past, I don't know, well, especially the past 5 years, or if you want to go 3 years, Russell Wilson's pretty much the only one who really came out and made it. I mean, he won the Super Bowl.
He's done the most.
Yeah, he's definitely done the most. And this is a guy that was thrown to the wolves right from the get-go. Now, that being said, he was also fortunate to be on the Seahawks, who already were building up a great team on top of that.
Andrew Luck has posted better stats on pretty much everything other than a ring.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can have some guys do that, but look what happened to RG3. He got completely wrecked.
Yeah.
They left him in games he probably shouldn't have been left in, and he got hurt.
Yeah.
And but this is a good example here. Look, Winston's stat line: 287 yards and 2 touchdowns. If he didn't throw 4 interceptions, he would have had a decent day.
True.
So basically, he's making bad decisions because he's a rookie. He needs some more work. I think he's got a lot of promise, and down the road, the Bucs could really be more of a threat than they are right now. And I'm not. It's kind of upsetting since the whole division looks good. They look like they're in good places, I guess, and the Saints look like they have the most to work
I think with
in
Winston is
division.
rookies will make rookie mistakes, and you always gotta let that kind of thing go. But with Winston is he a good enough quarterback that by year 2, by year 3 in his career, that he can just adapt and learn on his own? Because of what you just said, he doesn't have a quarterback to sit on the bench and learn some guidelines and maybe some patience or just anything that quarterbacks need to know for that particular team and the way that their offense is played. He didn't have that. He has to learn now, and if he doesn't learn now, he probably never will.
I think as long as his confidence isn't completely shattered by rough games like this as a rookie, that down the road, I'm not going to go so far as to say, oh yeah, elite quarterback, but I think he'll be solid. I think he'll be what Tampa's needs, basically, which is someone that can run the offense.
I mean, between Mike Evans and Vincent Jackson, you should be set up, realistically.
Tampa's they're kind of like I guess Oakland right now. They got some good stuff going on, and they're going to be a team to watch the next few years. Carolina's a team to watch now, though.
Yeah, they are definitely a team. I mean, you look at Josh Norman had just a huge day. I mean, one pick six, another interception. That
right.
coming. It's always got to feel good when you have 2 interceptions in a game off the quarterback.
Hey, they might not win the division this year, but as good as they're looking right now, I mean, they're doing this without Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah.
Which is even more impressive.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to Carolina and Atlanta playing for 2 reasons. A, I think it'll be a good game, and B, the selfish reason that it makes it one of those teams will have to lose that game, so it'll help the Saints catch up.
I thought about this earlier today because you got 2 teams in the same division who are undefeated, right. And I'm like, man, it might come down to when those 2 teams play. They don't play until week 11.
I know they have 2. They play late in the season twice.
It's either week 11, week 13, it's week 12, and week 14. It's really late. I think it's 12 and 14.
Right.
Which is a really, really bizarre schedule, to be honest.
It's actually happened like that for the last couple years in the NFC South. For whatever reason, there's been 2 teams matched up really late in the season twice. And I don't know why the schedule's been playing out that way. It is bizarre, I agree.
So realistically, probably both of those teams will have a loss by then. Maybe not. I would be very surprised.
I would assume that they're probably going to lose at least the game.
Yeah, that. But even so, talk about what are the chances that both of those teams play so late in the season, and then both of those teams are the most, I guess, high percentage of fighting to win the division.
What a turnaround, though. It actually almost completely mirrors the NFC West a few years back. Because remember, Seattle did what Carolina did first a few years back. They went in with the losing record, and they won a playoff game. And then all of a sudden the next year, you had Seattle and San Francisco rose up, and they're like these huge rivals that were playing important games and for the playoffs. And all of a sudden Atlanta and Carolina are doing that this year. Now, I don't know if it's going to hold up, but so far that it's mirroring that pretty exact, honestly.
That's true. I think before we can wrap this up, I do want to point out probably my favorite play that happened this week, the Jonathan Stewart run, and he fumbled it, and Ed Dixon picks it up for the touchdown. Yeah. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It was.
I mean, it's probably not just my opinion. I think that's definitely got play of the week.
It was a wild play, that's for sure.
It was, yeah. It's like something you don't plan for. It just happens. Right. The cards just happen to be, in their hands.
And we've already seen, despite the quite the turnaround from last year, the NFC South has already had quite the Breeze to Spiller play that ended the game. Sunday Night Football, obviously, but then a couple weeks ago, the flip into the end zone that Carolina did, that Cam Newton did. We've had some interesting plays in the NFC South that have kind of stolen the show.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at it like that, I didn't even really realize.
The division's having a resurgence, I guess, of relevance and coverage, and after the miserable year that they had last year, and I'm at least happy about that, and the win. But Carolina, they're definitely a team to watch. We could see 2 teams. I mean, it's looking like we're going to see 2 NFC South teams go to the playoffs, and I don't think anyone expected that.
No. Yeah, and that's also insane because I feel like the NFC this year in general is going to have the most competition to get the wild card spot, more so than even the divisional win spot.
It's always that way, especially compared to the AFC. At least I say always. At least it has been the last few years. There's going to be an NFC team. I'll go ahead and make this prediction right now. There's going to be a team that gets screwed out of the playoffs that would have made it in the AFC. I mean, that happened in Arizona a couple of years ago.
Really?
Yeah, maybe so. So.
Yeah, well, definitely stuff to watch out for. If you like this entire video, if you like the Jonathan Stewart play to Ed Dixon, if you like just hearing our voices, or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can come down and you can like our Facebook page. You can join us on Twitter. The links are in the description below. You can always comment and like this video because we always like to hear from your comments, and sometimes we reply back. Or probably mostly all the time because not a whole lot of people like to comment so far.
Shout out to Brian. Love you, Brian.
Yeah, you're one viewer.